As an author, it's incredibly important to make sure that you have copies of your own book, but I always keep one extra copy of my own book in my house for a very specific reason, and you might want to as well. So what is that reason? Okay, hold on. It's a little traumatic, but stick with me on this one. I keep an extra copy of my book to destroy. I know. We don't want to think about ripping up our books and like destroying them or damaging them or all of those things. I know it is the biggest nightmare for an author. We don't want to see that. We don't want that. But there is a valuable reason for this, because as an author, your job is to market, and you're going to need to market however creatively you can. So I keep at least one extra copy of each of my books that I can damage, destroy, or risk destroying. I don't always destroy them. Sometimes I will have a picture that I'm setting up, especially when Bookstagram was like a really big thing. I would set up my book in different locations that were a little bit on the precarious side. I have had a copy of my novel fall into a hot tub because I was taking a picture and it just boop right over and fell into the water. I set my books by ponds and rivers and streams and places where they can get dirty and covered in grass and like all of the things. So I have at least one copy that I can damage if needed. And damaging, again, can just be like risky places for photos and videos, or it can legitimately be, here, Mermaid Performer, please take my book and drop it into your tank with you and have my book pages swirling around you while you're reading my book. It can be, I'm creating crafts. I am going to build flowers out of book pages. I'm going to build a dress out of my book pages, or I'm going to hang book pages on the wall or let them cascade down from the ceiling, or I'm going to throw book pages in the air to create really cool photos. Have a copy of your book so that you are using your own book. You're not using other people's copyrighted materials for fun things like creating cool pictures or hanging stuff from your ceiling or creating a flower to wear in your hair or creating things out of your book pages for your book tablescapes at book signings. Have copies of your book because you can do cool things with them to market. You can create cool sculptures. I know a lady who creates book sculptures. So you send her a couple copies of your book, she takes all the pages out, and then she turns your book into a dragon or a castle or like all sorts of really cool things. So you can do a lot with this for marketing purposes by having an extra copy of your book that you can get wet, that you can get dirty, that you can take pages out of. You can actually take certain pages out of your books without it looking like you cut them out of your books. You could do a lot of things with this to help with your marketing. So while we don't particularly love to damage them, sometimes the marketing is worth it. And because we're the writers and because we have, let's be honest, we probably have 5-6 copies of our books anyway, or more. Sometimes we have more. We have the ability, we have the freedom to use it for marketing purposes. There's a lot that you can do with it. You can get very, very creative with the way you origami your book pages, or the way that you're building something out of it, or the way you're just plastering the wall behind you with pages of your book as a background for your videos. You can do so much with your book. So have copies that can get dirty, that can get banged up, that can get damaged, that can get ripped apart, that can get used for crafts, that can get used for marketing, that can do things. You could even take your book pages out and create a table runner for your book signing of your book pages. There's so much that you can do. There's so much you can do with this. So get yourself at least one extra copy of each of your books for the purpose of using it however you're going to need to without having to damage your good copies. Follow along for more author ideas on marketing and on how you can make your life a lot easier, from your writing to your publishing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable year ever with the least amount of stress and overwhelm with the content you're creating so you can live your best author life while also still having life. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.